Come light it up, I'm ready to go. Come light it up, come light it up, I'm ready to go. Come light it up.
To start off, I invite you to come on a quick journey with me. As humans, we are programmed to collect data. It's innately within all of us, and for a very long time, we have been perfecting the art and the science of storing data. At first, it started as a means to record history. Then fast forward a few thousand years, and we've recorded our first inventory records. And a few thousand more years go by, and finally, we enter the beginning of an era where the pace of innovation in our ability to store data accelerates at an unprecedented rate. That remains true even in 2024 as we look ahead 5, 10, 50 plus years. We will continue to get better at collecting and storing data. But there remains a challenge. It's one thing to just store the data. It's another thing to be able to use that data and apply insights from that data effectively in our everyday lives. And as we continue to collect data, the challenge remains of how to make sense of it all, how to mitigate risks, improve revenue streams, and better the lives of our customers. And it remains a challenge because it's messy, because it is hard, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. That's why years since laws and regulations were enforced, we still have banks subjected to $6.6 billion in AML fines in 2023. In an era where we would have assumed digital advertising is table stakes, a targeting error cost an advertiser over $110 million. Or in an industry that lives and breathes on its ability to collect, store, and process insights at Hyperscale, a large ride-sharing company underpaid its drivers in New York City alone by over $45 million over 2 years. The repercussions of the inability to make better sense of data are only going to be realized at even larger scales as we head into an era of AI-assisted human decisioning. In this era, the pace of innovation is accelerating astronomically. Remember, the innovation in our ability to store data has been a long and steady process over thousands of years. However, our ability to compute and make sense of data is accelerating even faster with the emergence of Gen AI and ushering in a new era of AI-assisted human decisioning. Since OpenAI released its first version of ChatGPT, we've seen over 330 foundation models released. And with each release, the models are getting better, faster, and more efficient. Llama, the popular open source model from Meta, across all of its versions has now been downloaded over 350 million times just on Hugging Face alone, reflecting the sheer excitement to take advantage of this technology. As we look to 2025, it's going to be all about the commercialization of AI agents, with tens of thousands of agents expected to be deployed in production, supporting companies of all shapes and sizes. As an example cited by a leading venture capital firm, we are entering a world where AI agents are used not just to automate tasks, but create an intelligent, adaptive nervous system for the entire business's supply chain experience. The AI agents can analyze data from multiple sources, including customer interactions, inventory records, market trends, and make real-time decisions based on that data. When a supply chain issue arises, they will proactively analyze and manage inventory, tune marketing spend, and offer customers personalized recommendations. This is the future that is happening now. This is the modern version of the California gold rush, but at a global scale with a much larger market opportunity that will redefine companies and societies. Businesses, for the first time ever, are making quick pivots to embrace the market opportunity expected to be generated by Gen AI. McKinsey & Co. forecasts this to become a $1.3 trillion market. And the thing is, the majority of these initial use cases are focused on realizing value by addressing existing challenges specifically anchored around customer experiences, like improving the contact center experience or better and more timely product recommendations. The rest represents investments on enhancing existing products and building new AI-based products. So when you combine everything that humans have achieved to date with our ability to store massive amounts of data and analyze that data, one would think that we're doing pretty well. Perhaps that we've figured it all out, but there remains a disconnect. We've become so good at compartmentalizing that we are ultimately starving analytics and AI of data, more specifically relevant business data. And there is very important nuance here. It's very easy to say that we're democratizing data with concepts like data mesh or data fabric, but the reality is that the majority of data architectures are purposely siloed. In most cases, there were a combination of business, technical, or even regulatory requirements that compelled your business to build the architecture the way it is today. And that's okay. But what this has led to is the business's inability to effectively use all of the relevant data for advanced analytics and AI. So what do I mean by this? For the first time ever, teams across the business undisputedly recognize the importance of investing in the next generation of analytics and AI. Remember, the market opportunity is estimated to be $1.3 trillion over the next few years. And we're seeing an early concentration of investment areas that focus on delighting customers with improved experiences. These value-added use cases will be some of the first to show return on investment in AI. Unlike past attempts with AI, AI models and AI-ready hardware are becoming readily available. There's a growing volume of really powerful open source models, and GPUs are no longer reserved for the largest enterprises, as NVIDIA and others continue to ramp up production, and you're able to now buy GPU-equipped data lakehouses directly from Dell. But as you've probably guessed by now, the missing ingredient is the ability to secure and easily discover and access relevant business data. In fact, a recent Cube research report found that 63% of respondents lacked confidence in their data strategy for AI. So this tells us two things. First of all, that businesses are ready for the mainstream adoption of AI, but the data strategy is perceived to be the biggest blocker right now. Second, there is a cohort of 37% of companies who are confident in their data strategy and may very well become the early movers to gain competitive advantage. We'll dive more into this cohort a little later. Here's what we're seeing in the market based on our work with leading data-driven enterprises. The overall theme is that data stacks can't keep up. More specifically, we're seeing a number of trends. First of all, exploding data volumes, not just volume, but also data velocity and variety. And we expect this to continue with the proliferation of edge devices and increasing modalities of electronic, human, and machine interactions. A lot of this is being driven by AI and ML, which is accelerating data demands as these areas become critical to business success. We're also seeing an increase in self-serve and democratization of analytics, with large numbers of new users across organizations. We're seeing hybrid and multi-cloud environments becoming the norm, especially at the enterprise level, and even more so in regulated or IP-centric industries. And we're also seeing a growing use of open source software. Iceberg, the open data format, is a great example. There's a lot of excitement around Iceberg as many see it as the future of data storage. These trends create a lot of pains that are felt all the way up to the CIO and the CTO. Data architectures are struggling to meet the escalating and evolving demands of the business. As a result of these demands, costs are out of control, and IT budgets are under extreme pressure from the office of the CFO and the board of directors. Exploding data volumes also create growing security and compliance risks, especially as more and more users need to access data and the proliferation of data pipelines to move and replicate data continues. Vendor lock-in is also a problem, especially since it limits an organization's ability to be agile and innovate. Of course, this is what's driving the adoption of open source software. But open source can also be difficult to self-support without the right skills, specializations, and infrastructure. From our point of view, all of this pain is caused by popular monolithic data platforms and their inherent shortcomings. If you're relying heavily on the construct of a data warehouse, you've probably made this bet because you're prioritizing performance. But the consequence of that choice is high costs. So you might complement or replace your warehouse with a data lake. You gain a better cost structure in comparison to a warehouse, but you might be sacrificing performance, especially at scale with users, queries, and high concurrency. So in 2018, Netflix deployed a lakehouse architecture using Trino and Iceberg, aiming to get the best of both worlds, high performance and low cost. You now might be thinking, hey, I want one of those too, but not all lakehouses are created equal. Most lakehouses have a number of shortcomings, such as some of them use a proprietary query engine, some are cloud only, some have limited access to distributed data outside of the data lake, and some are not the best choice for Iceberg. They may work on Iceberg, but you won't get that top performance when querying Iceberg tables. This is why we believe that the best lakehouse is actually an icehouse. The icehouse architecture is a specific implementation of a lakehouse which builds on core open source components. Specifically, Iceberg is the open table format, and Trino is the open source query engine. Trino was built for scale, massive processing power, and enables data access in and around your data lake. This exact combination of Iceberg and Trino has become the reference architecture for some of the largest and most sophisticated companies in the world, including Apple and LinkedIn to Goldman Sachs and Comcast. An icehouse architecture guarantees three things. Number one, the data is in commodity storage, and it's yours. It's not trapped in vendor-specific proprietary storage at all. Number two, the SQL syntax is standard ANSI SQL, so you don't have to worry about massive investments in trying to convert that SQL syntax down the road. And number three, you now have federated access to all of the data that sits outside of your lake for data discovery and ad hoc analytics as well. Many organizations are moving towards this icehouse architecture because it's an open and hybrid data stack that can run anywhere. But for those that aren't there yet and who realize it may take a while to get there, the good news is that it's not difficult to start realizing some of the benefits immediately without having to do a complete rip and replace of your existing platform. A common starting point is to migrate select data workloads in your existing environment into an icehouse architecture. And we have years of experience helping teams identify the best workloads to start with. In addition, or as an alternative starting point, you can use an icehouse architecture to launch new data applications that have been delayed because your current environment just can't accommodate them. At Starburst, we take the fundamentals of the icehouse architecture and bring them to life in an open, hybrid, and easy-to-use lakehouse platform, removing the complexity of running open source components yourself. Here's a high-level summary of what you get with the Starburst platform. At the heart is the query engine, powered by an enhanced version of Trino, meaning that you're going to get massive performance and greater scale gains than what you'll find in the open source version. Secondly, it's delivered as an enterprise platform with enterprise-grade security, scalability, governance, and usability. Third, the platform also includes our own data source connectors and ingestion tools for fast, easy data access, including Iceberg table creation if you're in the process of moving to Iceberg. And fourth, we've built a set of analytics accelerators, such as our data products, warp speed caching and indexing technology, and other productivity tools to help analytics users work quickly, effectively, and collaboratively. And all of this is delivered with deployment flexibility. You have the choice between Starburst Enterprise, our self-managed deploy anywhere software, or Starburst Galaxy, our fully managed cloud service. With Starburst, you are now able to run an end-to-end fully managed icehouse platform. I'm excited to announce that our streaming ingestion and managed Iceberg tables are now generally available. These capabilities enable you to ingest your streaming data from sources like Apache Kafka, Amazon MSK, or Confluent and land it into a managed Iceberg table in object storage. You can then do all of those transformations from bronze to gold and start running your near real-time analytics all within about a minute. In fact, one of our customers, an innovative travel and hospitality company named Going, is processing 60 gigabytes per second of flight data per minute to offer faster real-time recommendations to its customers. Going CEO will be joining me in a few moments to talk more about how this capability has transformed what they are able to deliver for their customers. In our product keynote tomorrow, Tobias Turnstrom, Starburst's Chief Product Officer, will have more details to share along with other performance enhancements we're introducing to the Starburst Open Hybrid Lakehouse. The final piece that I want to show you is how to embrace data sharing with data products. This is all about bringing the consumer experience that we live with every day to your data. So imagine your last online shopping experience, whether that was yesterday, earlier today, or you might even be browsing right now. It's okay, we'll say that you're multitasking. When you're on your favorite retail website, you have the ability to use a universal search bar that allows you to search across the entire inventory. There may even be some restrictions on which items you can see based on your user profile. When you find your item, you click into it to understand that product. You read the product description, how to use the product, user reviews, perhaps the materials that are used to make that product, where it was made, and who made it. And that experience is exactly what we aim to bring to data. We refer to it as the consumerization of data, where you can build a data product once and reuse it multiple times while enforcing necessary fine-grained access controls and applying all of that in a consumer-like experience, much the way that you would see on a retail site. Once you've built your data products, you can share them with every internal team that needs access to similar data. For your external strategic partners, you may build a more tailored data product to share. When you do share that data product, you also apply the necessary access control policies to make sure the users only see the aspects within the data product that they are authorized to see. This ensures that John in marketing can't see the customer lifetime value figures in your customer 360 data, but Jane in finance can see all the financial data while the PII information remains hidden. You can also power your Gen AI models with data products by pointing your LLM of choice, whether it's ChatGPT or Llama, Mistral, or others, to the data product, which now makes it easier when you're trying to do AI forensics, because now you'll know exactly what data was used to generate the responses. This is true data democratization because data products are fast, easy, and secure. If we get this right, what you ultimately develop is a self-sustaining flywheel, where it's easy to discover and access business data that has all the necessary security and governance applied. Your models are being trained with relevant data. The models then power your AI agents, which your customers can then interact with, creating more data which can be used to further continue to improve the customer experience. That's the flywheel. So as we circle back to this, the challenge is that analytics and AI are starving for relevant business data. But it's no longer a matter of whether or not the technical capabilities are readily available, because they are today. What does matter is the level of business priority and how big of a business problem this is for your organization to open up your data, enable more near real time, and consumerize your data in order to deliberately take advantage of this era of AI-assisted human decisioning. Now I'd like to invite a special guest to join me to discuss the importance of being able to access and analyze relevant business data in near real time to better serve their customers. Brian Kidwell is the CEO and co-founder of Going, which is an innovative travel and hospitality business obsessed with revealing a world of greater travel possibilities for its customers. Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So to get started, tell us a little bit about Going.com.
Sure. So Going is a subscription company, consumer subscription company, really focused on helping people find great deals on flights. Many other companies sell flights, they sell, other travel products, but we are a subscription company. And so we are fully incentivized to build an amazing experience for our customers and provide them accurate and up-to-date information. And I'd love to tell you a little bit about kind of like our background and how we're using data, if that would be helpful.
That would be great.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you go back, we've kind of been around for a while. If you go back, we really started off as this newsletter, and my co-founder would spend his days just searching for cheap flights. And he would package these up and then send them out to our customers in an email. And we've grown over the years. We now have a mobile app, which is really going to be the core of our experience moving forward. But as we've added more customers, right, we have demand for features and requests. And what we've learned is that a lot of customers really love the deals because they're exciting and you can travel incredible places for very cheap. But people have constraints in life and they can't always make the deals work for their constraints or their requirements, right? They have places they want to go. They have certain times that they can travel. And we realized that the manual curation that we were doing for the deals that we send out doesn't really scale for individual users. And so the solution that we've been working towards is really getting better airfare data and then being able to use that data to help individual customers according to their own needs. We're going to still send out incredible deals, but we also want to understand on the individual basis how we can help our customers accomplish their own travel goals. And so there's a ton of airfare data out there. I think we're ingesting about 50 petabytes of data annually today. And we're really leveraging that data not only to find amazing deals, but then also build models that help provide more context for our customers in terms of whether they should be booking a flight, whether they should be holding off, to really reduce a lot of that stress that comes from booking airfare when, you shouldn't be stressed. You're going on vacation. So that's what we're trying to do, is reduce that stress and really help our customers accomplish their travel goals.
That makes a ton of sense. Clearly, your business is dependent on fresh and timely data. I'm curious, what were some of the decision criteria that you considered when choosing to partner with us at Starburst?
Sure. So you're absolutely right. Data is critical for our business. And, given the history of where we came from, we did not start off as a data focused company. It was really this like manual curation. But as we've grown, we've learned the importance of data, and how important it is to have timely and accurate data that we can ingest and store and use as efficiently as possible. And so I think right now, as I mentioned, we're ingesting 50 petabytes of data per year. That will likely scale 2 or 3x in the coming years. And so it required a rethink of our data strategy, both in terms of where we're getting data, but then also how we're ingesting it and storing it. And so a few of the criteria for us: we needed a solution that was really scalable. We needed a solution that wouldn't unnecessarily lock us into a certain vendor. We also wanted something that was cost efficient and really easy to manage. And I think the thing that we're really excited about with Starburst is we want to unlock the data as much as possible for our internal employees to be able to use, so they can be their own analysts and make their own decisions and find these opportunities to improve the experience for our customers. And what we found with Starburst is that we can do that in a way that our team is less focused on data management and more focused on doing things with the data and being able to provide actual value to our customers with the data in a more efficient way, because we do have a small team, we do have a ton of data, and so that's super, super important for us to be able to do that. And really why we're excited both about the Starburst Data Lakehouse solution and then the streaming ingest solution as well.
Awesome. And if I can ask a follow-up question there, I've heard that you're ingesting something like 60 gigabytes per second with streaming ingest. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a lot of data. I don't know the exact daily amount off the top of my head, but I know it's 50 petabytes per year and growing. So very, very large amount of data. And I think the streaming ingest capabilities have been a game changer for us, because before we just the solution, right, just wasn't as scalable, and we weren't able to leverage the data in the same way that we are today. And so we're really excited about what Starburst has been able to deliver on that front.
Incredible. Well, with AI on every executive's mind, I'm curious how is going approaching the application of AI on top of this data strategy that you spoke of?
Sure. So I think a lot of people right now are excited about generative AI. We're excited about that too, but that's not our current focus. That's a little bit further in the future. We're really focused on more traditional AI ML at this point, as we build some of these foundations. And I think this is where we're going to unlock the most value for our customers in the near future. Like I said, the value that we want to provide is really like decreasing that stress that comes with booking flights. And so the amount of data that we have and the ways that we can build models and leverage this data to create insights is where we're focused. And so I'll give you a few examples of some of the things that we're doing with the data and the models that we're creating. So one of those things is what we're calling the deal freshness, right? And so this tells customers how long they have to book a flight before we think it will expire, or the price will go up. And so we were previously doing this manually. We would say, hey, we think this deal will last 2 to 3 days. But now with the data models that we've been able to build, we're able to predict this much, much more effectively than we were in the past. And so maybe it's 5 days. Maybe you have 5 days to decide if you should book this flight or not, which gives you time to sit down with your partner and talk it over. Or maybe you have less than 24 hours and you need to book this flight immediately. And so we're really excited about the accuracy improvements that we've been able to have there on the deal freshness. We're also implementing a deal scoring model so that we can, as we're ingesting all this flight data, right? Like the prices are changing daily in the airfare world. And so as we're ingesting all of this data, we want to be able to quickly score and analyze these flights that are coming in to understand if they're good. Are these great prices that we need to alert our customers to, or are they not, right? And we just need to, put those into our storage and be able to query them later. And so what this is allowing us to do is provide better information to our customers in terms of whether or not they should book a flight or not. And then the last one I'll mention here is around price prediction. And so this isn't live yet, and is something that we're working on. But really, with, like I said, the price is fluctuating so much, I think it's critical for customers to have an understanding of whether or not the price is going to go up or go down. And our ability to predict that will help our customers make the decision for them on whether or not they should book the flight. And so I think right now, we've been focused on building these foundations for what we can now do with the models and do with the data, right? We've been focused on implementing these mechanisms, and we're kind of at this inflection point right now where we are getting to do all of these fun things for the first time. And I think that's one of the things that I'm really excited about is, we've been around for a while. We have this large customer base, but we're deploying these models for the first time, which means we can have this immediate impact both for our customers and for the business.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you, Brian. We like to say that your AI strategy is only as good as your data strategy, and it's clear that you all have put a lot of thought into how to lay the right foundation to enable these new features for your customers. It's an incredible story. You're clearly a very data-driven business and operating at significant scale from a data perspective. Thank you so much for your time, and I encourage all of you in the audience to check out the Going app.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Justin.
Thank you, Brian. We are thrilled to have Going as a customer and benefiting from the Starburst Open Hybrid Lakehouse. I look forward to the continued partnership. So what Brian shared about what they're doing at Going is a mindset that is consistent across a growing number of businesses around the world. If you recall, I shared earlier that 63% of businesses aren't confident in their data strategy for AI. But what about the 37% that are? For example, at Going, there's a pattern that is emerging of what is setting these businesses apart and giving them an early mover advantage in the AI frontier. First, it's about maintaining control. And what I mean by control is that across the most transformative brands, we're finding that these businesses are taking back control of their data by breaking the chains of proprietary storage and proprietary SQL syntax. This gives them the freedom to adapt their data storage based on changing economics, regulatory climates, and between on-premises and the cloud. Furthermore, an open source foundation for SQL now makes the SQL itself portable as well. So in reality, your IP across data and analytics is finally your IP for the first time in database history. Next, businesses of all sizes in that 37% are realizing that there is no reality where a centralized data storage ever exists in perpetuity. For one reason or another, data is bound to become decentralized. And so these businesses are figuring out how to optimize their architectures, not only to access the data within the data lake, but also around the data lake. Lastly, in an ever-increasingly dynamic business environment, the 37% are optimizing to have the freshest data and insights available in order to take advantage of new market opportunities and mitigate risk during times of crisis. The reality is, if you combine the essence of all three of these points, the 37% that do have confidence in their data strategy have optimized for building agile data architectures that build, in one shape or another, on an open hybrid lakehouse. So as we look ahead a year to 2 years from today, as stewards of the data, analytics, and AI architectures that we build, we should no longer tell ourselves that we suffer from data challenges because of a 30-year-old legacy data warehouse construct that still persists in too many environments. We should no longer tell ourselves that access to quality and timely data from across the enterprise is inhibiting our ability to be more responsive to dynamic business needs. What we should be telling ourselves is that we are now confident in our data strategy because we are no longer starving our analytics and AI projects of relevant business data. Once again, welcome to the Starburst Datanova and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.